November. 100K seems like a distant memory as Bitcoin continues to slide. Where's the bottom? With ETFs and DATs selling off, everyone wants to know where the pain ends and the turnaround begins. ETH on edge. The second largest crypto is approaching a key support level ahead of its latest network upgrade. Can it hold? And a look at last week's top performers, tweets of the week, TA with Lewis, the portfolio competition update, and much more besides. This is the Coin Bureau News, live. Yes, this is indeed the Coin Bureau News Live. Welcome, everyone. It is good to see you. It is good to be back. It is good to be back here in the studio as well, Nick.
Welcome back. How are you feeling?
I'm
well rested.
A little bit tired still. I always take a while to recover from a holiday, if you can call it that. But yeah, I had a great time. I was down under for the first time ever. Actually.
Your portfolio was down under.
My portfolio has been down under for most of its existence. But no, I was down under myself. I was in Western Australia. I was there to watch the cricket. England play Australia at cricket. Believe me, folks, if you think it's bad being a follower of crypto, then try being a follower of the England cricket team. That is arguably much, much worse.
Or the England soccer team for the World Cups.
I'll have you know, the England football team is actually doing quite well at the moment. But yeah, the cricket team are back in sort of perennial underachiever mode. Had to watch them get absolutely shellacked in front of 50,000 Aussies.
Okay, so you watch your portfolio get shellacked and then you watch the cricket team get shellacked as well.
Yes, as a crypto holder, I was better able to deal with the disappointment than many of my fellow Englishmen at that game. But nevertheless, it was lovely to be in Australia for the first time. Great country, great people. The food was amazing. Everything except the cricket was amazing.
Amazing. Well, yeah. I need to visit then. I need to visit.
Yeah. Anyway, we better stop talking about cricket because we might lose the viewers. But we are going to be talking today, folks, about Bitcoin. As usual, it is in that 85K zone at the moment. We're also going to be looking at when the bottom is going to be in, because I mean, this is the conversation we need to be having with ourselves now. And we're also going to be looking at what is going on with Ethereum. Are Tom Lee's increasingly wild price predictions actually going to come to pass, or does he need to go and spend some time in a secure facility somewhere?
I think he's trying to manifest it. He believes in the secret. If you wish it into existence, it will come.
Yes. Well, we know how well that's worked over the course of human history. So yes, lots to discuss, and of course all the usual features as well that you know and love. So before we get started though, don't forget to hit the like button.
Subscribe.
You can subscribe as well. You can ring the bell. And you can see the little progress bar down there below Nick. If that gets to 100% for likes, if we get 1,000 likes or indeed more, then Nick and I will spend some time towards the end discussing our portfolios.
Much needed.
Yes, or indeed what's left of them. And maybe some of the things we might be sort of mulling over doing. But yes, we're going to need some likes in order to do that.
And finally, don't forget the portfolio competition at the end. It's still in the we've still got something in the portfolio, thankfully.
There is still a portfolio.
There is still a portfolio.
It's not quite down as badly as it might be. Yes, so we'll be bringing you that a little later on as well. But let's crack on and talk about the week in Bitcoin, shall we, Nick?
The week in Bitcoin, yeah. A week to forget. Oh, my God. So it started off on Monday, the first weekly close below the 50-week exponential moving average. As many know, this had been one of the most important bull market supports that everyone had been focusing on. And yes, we closed below it. So that wasn't a good way to start the week. Saylor did come back and buy. He bought actually a pretty decent sized stack at over 8,000 Bitcoin, but unfortunately didn't manage to do much for the price because remember last stream we said, we've been covering for the past 2 months that there existed this CME gap around the 92, 93K level. And we kind of joked about, well, we probably won't. Hopefully we never close that. Hopefully we never have to close that CME gap. And
it was kind of the Voldemort, wasn't it?
The Voldemort, not to be mentioned, yes. It does he who does not exist, the CME gap below 95K.
Yeah, well, we better not talk about the other CME gap that's even lower. But so we had talked about that, and we kind of joked that probably wouldn't get that bad. And then it did.
It did. And so on Tuesday, we closed it. Freaking crazy. We closed it after at least 2 to 3 months since it was open in the gap, it was closed.
Okay.
But that was not where it stopped falling. Unfortunately, we fell and actually broke below 90K.
I mean, this was rough. This was rough. I was glad. I was glad to be elsewhere.
Yeah. We did manage to bounce, though, and catch up to 92K by the end of the day, which was interesting because at exactly the same time, we had big tech stocks collapsing.
Yeah.
And generally, I was kind of suspicious because it's like tech stocks are collapsing and Bitcoin's still holding up. So it's like, what does this potentially mean?
Yeah. Well, at least it wasn't just crypto.
At least it wasn't just crypto, yeah.
Always take
solace from the fact that other people are suffering as well.
Yeah, that's one way of looking
Misery
at it.
loves company. We all in good company, yeah. Wednesday, it started off slow and then all hell broke loose. Because I don't know if you saw this guy, but there's no jobs report for October. They were cancelling them.
Okay. This was obviously related to the government shutdown.
Government shutdown, yep.
Yeah.
And we also had the FOMC minutes.
Yes. Strongly divided on December interest rate cut. We definitely got hints of that from Powell's press conference, hadn't we, at the last meeting? And I think this is confirming. So again, the likelihood of that we just don't know whether we're going to get a rate cut in December.
Yeah, markets have priced it a bit more of a chance, but yeah, they're very, very much divided at the Fed, more so than any time in history, actually. Bitcoin did fall back again below 90K, unfortunately.
It did rally, though, because of Nvidia, right? Because we got this Nvidia earnings call. I mean, basically, Nvidia is propping up not just the stock market, but everything else.
Everything else. Back above 90K. There we go. We're back. We're over back. It's over back. 90K. Thanks, Jensen. Yeah. Then on Thursday, we got delayed NFP numbers. Now, these were for September. And they were actually very good.
All right.
So they beat expectations.
Okay, some good data.
Didn't help though.
No.
Because we fell to 89K, 88K, 87K, 86K, all in the span of a day.
Yeah. And of course, at the same time, we not only had ETF outflows, but they were record outflows as well.
Record outflows, the highest in months, right?
Yeah.
So much, the markets were so terrible that the crypto community was actually reaching out to Trump for help.
Please, come on. Please do something, Mr. President.
About 65 crypto organizations are calling on President Trump to bypass Congress and direct federal agencies to immediately pump our backs.
I mean, it's bad when you're basically forced to beg, aren't you? But it didn't stop. It kept falling. It went to 84K. It went to 83K. It actually flash crashed to 80K on Hyperliquid.
Madness.
I mean, this is crazy. The realized losses spiked to a level that we hadn't seen since FTX.
Yeah. So coins moved at a loss. Lots of these recent buyers.
Yeah.
So it wasn't looking too good. The weekend, it started slowly trending up on Saturday and Sunday. But as you know, never, ever trust a Sunday pump.
Absolutely.
So what's coming? Well, this week, it's a relatively shorter week, at least on the trading side, because we've got Thanksgiving on Thursday. So, happy Thanksgiving to all our American viewers out there.
Okay.
We've got PPI numbers, though, tomorrow. So those are some inflation numbers. And then initial jobless claims on Wednesday. So keep an eye on that. But in terms of the charts, this is the long-term, this is the daily chart of Bitcoin. And if you look at the RSI, which is an indicator of momentum, it's now at incredibly oversold levels. In fact, we haven't been this oversold since February. So that's potentially positive. But as I mentioned, never trust a Sunday pump. We still do have a small CME gap now that we opened up over this weekend.
Okay.
85.2 to 85.9. And indeed, right now, it seems like we're slowly drifting back towards that. We'll see if we're able to close it. And then just looking quickly over on the options market, this is also interesting. I came across today that the most popular option instrument being bought in terms of open interest notional is the 80K put. So the $80,000 put strike. It used to be, last week it was 85K. So it seems that most option buyers have a bearish tilt and are expecting us to potentially go below 80K, at least in the options market. There's also downside protection and everything.
Okay.
So that's what the markets are looking like. That's what we're looking like this week.
Okay, so there is a thought that we could still test lower levels.
Yeah, we'll get onto that in the next section. But if you guys are looking to trade these markets and you want to do so on a well-known, reputable international exchange, we couldn't think of a better place to do it than our first brand partner, which is 2Bit. So 2Bit, they currently are a top-tier international exchange, and you can check them out. We have a current offering on for our viewers. Over $90,000 in trading rewards, and alongside a VIP level 1 upgrade where you'll get 50% off trading fees for life. So it's a solid interface, deep liquidity, and competitive fees. And onboarding is super simple. You just need an email address, right, to be able to sign up. You can sign up right now, check it out, see how it works for you. And then if you want to trade on it, fund your account and avail yourself of the bonuses. You can scan the QR code on the screen right now, or hit the link down in the description, and you can go and sign up there with 2Bit.
Fantastic. Thanks to 2Bit. Okay, I'll give you a quick overview of sentiment in the comments, Nick. Granada Videos 7258. That sounds like how my local video rental store would have answered the phone back in the old days. Think we'll reach back to 100K by year end.
It's possible. It's possible.
Meanwhile, Designer Speedy reckons BTC bottom will be around 70K.
Seems a reasonable bottom as well. That's what I've seen some of the analysis say, which we'll come to in the next section for sure.
Okay. Someone else is R25269. Did Guy lose all of his luggage while traveling? Is that why he looks homeless? I'm pretty sure people have been saying I looked homeless ever since the first Coin Bureau video was published. So your comment is
that's because
invalid.
You're always wearing the same shirt, though. No?
Well, yeah, I like to keep things simple. Which is easier when you're homeless. Good old Brett Thompson is saying, if you think Western Australia was good, you should have come to Melbourne for the best coffee and food Australia has to offer. Well, I'll tell you, Brett, if there's even better food to be had, I'll be amazed, because the food I had in Western Australia was brilliant. You wouldn't have appreciated, Nick.
Oh, what was it?
There was lots of delicious steak. There was lots of carbs. There wasn't enough salad and sushi for your liking.
Healthy options as well. I know the Aussies are very health conscious individuals. So
yes and no.
Or it's just you seeked out these kinds of.
I was just seeking out the lowest rent establishments possible. No, it was great. Ate and drank very, very well. The Australians are a funny bunch, though.
Oh no!
I mean, as we can tell from our good friend Brett in the comments. Okay, let's move on then, Nick, and talk about when the bottom might be on BTC, because this, I think, is the big question now. Have we bottomed? Have we got lower to go?
Yeah, where is it? It's the biggest question in crypto right now. It's basically started as some profit taking, minor dip, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So. Let's wind back first to understand how low we could go. We need to know how we got here. Quick rundown. It all started on a fateful 10/10 October day. Can we forget? And this is interesting. You pulled this tweet out last week, right? This is from
yeah. It feels like a big forced seller is in the market. We're seeing systematic selling through during specific hours, probably a consequence of 10/10 liquidations. Hard to imagine this scale of forced selling continues for much longer. Now, this is just one tweet of kind of many that I've seen speculating that some big entity went down because of 10/10. Now, whether that was a market maker, a hedge fund, an exchange, any other big entity is not quite clear. And of course, we should underline that this is speculation. But lots of people have been saying this, and I think it's worth flagging it up. Lots of people believe that at least one big entity got, that the damage from 10/10 is actually worse than a lot of people realize.
Yeah, exactly. And as we've seen, like with the last cycle with FTX, it takes quite some time for the bodies to actually float to the surface and you realize who was taken out. And this is interesting as well, because this is a chart from Bloomberg, and it showed the spread, or the spread in terms of what we get liquidity-wise. And when you have limited market depth and you have a seller like this, then any sort of selling coming to the market is going to bring prices down. And it seems as if also the price chart itself looked very programmatic in terms of the orders were placed during particular market hours, and they were kind of like a TWAP exit.
Yeah.
So that's what started it off. But I think now we're in a situation where the continuation has been, and the selling is coming from the likes of ETFs and institutions.
Yeah. Well, we've had the selling from Bitcoin whales and OGs. That was, that's been a thing as well. But yeah, I mean, basically November has been a terrible month. I should point out that there's still about a week of it left. So maybe it'll get better.
So far.
But yes, and it makes, there's headlines like this make sense when you realize that the average ETF investor is now in the red.
Yeah, so this is the average ETF price we pulled from K33 Research note last week. $89,651, the average price of all ETFs in aggregate.
Okay.
So that's why they're selling potentially. They're in a loss. And then, of course, the other big entity that had been driving things up in the run-up are now selling as well, as everyone had predicted they would do eventually. And this is digital asset treasury companies, DATs.
Yeah. I mean, this was pretty easy to see coming, I think. I don't think if anyone's surprised about DAT selling, then you really haven't been paying attention. But this I think was always going to happen. We talked about this a lot, but obviously, it all piles into the sell pressure. Meanwhile, we've also had a massive sell-off in tech as well. As we pointed out earlier, it's not just crypto that is suffering at the moment. Tech stocks in general are taking a bit of a beating. This seems to be largely because of uncertainty around the AI trade, right?
Exactly, around the circular financing, vendor financing, and the massive build-out in data center industrial complex. So that itself is causing issues for the stock markets. NASDAQ is down like 7% this month or something. So now that's what happened. Now we come to the question of where could we potentially see the bottom levels, and trying to catch that falling knife,
Oh, yeah. Oy.
So according to Bitwise's head of research, Andrei Dragos, he says that we could potentially see it at about 73 to a zone between 73 and 84K. And that's important for two reasons. One is because the 73K is where, if you remember that chart from K33, that is the average price for MSTR cost basis. So the average MicroStrategy or strategy buy price. Right, so that's one potential place zone. And then the 84K level is the average price of the IBIT ETF itself. So he says that a definitive bottom will likely form within the 73K to 84K range because these are fire sale levels indicative of a complete reset in market sentiment.
Okay. Meanwhile, we've also got Glassnode identifying the range between around about 82K and the high 80Ks, and they're calling this, quote, the definitive dividing range between a mild pullback and a deeper bear market phase.
Yeah, so we've already broken below the 87K range, which was the active investor realized price. And then the true market mean of all Bitcoin is at about 82K. So hopefully we don't fall below the 82K level.
Yes.
Let's see.
There be dragons below there.
Exactly,
right? Yeah.
Free fall.
Now, someone else who we've mentioned a few times in this show is Marcus Thielen from 10X. He's talking about fear and greed, right?
So basically he has this proprietary fear and greed index, and we've now crossed over the bottom of this fear level. And previously this happened in June 24, and this has been a place at which you have a strong rebound in Bitcoin's price. So he says historically when sentiment is this depressed, Bitcoin has been near at least a short-term bottom, often seen a relief bounce shortly after.
Okay. He also says that prices can still fall further, yet Bitcoin still staged a 10% rebound immediately after that initial sentiment low. So that suggests the final bottom may not be in just yet.
Not just yet. And indeed, someone else who shares that view, and this is quite concerning, is the head of trading at Galaxy Research. Now, I listened to this on a podcast yesterday. It's the Galaxy Brains podcast, where you have the head of research of Galaxy Brains and then of Galaxy Research and the Galaxy Digital, and the head of trading, who said that he thinks, and he's been quite accurate in his calls the past 2 months, and he said that historically the absolute bottom for a bear market, if we're in a full-on bear market right now, all this stuff, is generally the 200-week moving average, and that is currently sitting at 66.4K.
Ooh.
So that's what he's saying. The absolute, if this is a full-on bear market, if we go into sort of bear market lows, but that would be the buying point if you really want to identify a period of like that's the absolute bottom. But you know, it's all based on probabilities. These things, right? So you form a view on where you think things could probabilistically go. You have set levels, and indeed it relies on your view of whether you think we're actually in a full blown bear market or not.
Yeah. We're actually doing a video later this week or maybe early next week about how low crypto can go. And we're kind of, there's lots of lenses that you can look at this through. You can analyze it via looking at past cycles. And actually, if you look at it through past cycles, the drawdown could be a lot more. But, we could be going towards the 30 to 40K range. Now, before you panic, I don't personally think that we are going that low because of the very different market structure that we have now. ETFs, DATs, et cetera, et cetera. So, I don't think we're going that low, but it's certainly with Bitcoin and with crypto in general, it's complacency that kills you a lot of the time, doesn't it? Yeah. So, these estimates are saying, maybe mid 60s to sort of low 70s.
Yeah. Let's see how it goes this week. Like I say, important to watch the economic data coming out and all that, but it could form potential buy zones, but you have to watch. Let's first close that gap, hopefully, and then let's see where we go from there. Yeah. But either way, if you trade in these markets or if you hodl your Bitcoin for life and you want to store your Bitcoin for the next cycle to cash out above 100K in the next cycle, if we are in a bear market, then you're going to want to store it in a secure place. And the best place to do that is in a Tangem hardware wallet, self-custodial, cold storage. And it's your all-in-one crypto solution with no seed phrases or middlemen, just tap and go. Yep, absolutely. Tangem, very, very, very versatile as well. You can use it as a web wallet. They also have Tangem Pay that you can use now. So very good as not only a hardware device, but something that you can go and use in DeFi as well. So yeah, if you use the QR code over there or the link down in the description, you'll get a 10% discount on the device, and you can sign up for the waiting list for the card itself as well. Okay, fantastic. All right, so we've talked a lot about Bitcoin. We also need to talk about ETH as well, because yeah, I'm afraid we do. Talk about ETH. Because this the ETH rally that we saw a few months ago. Many people thought that might lead to sort of better things for altcoins in general. But ETH, of course, has been bleeding as well. Even though it has spot ETFs, it has DATs, it has a sort of mini Michael Saylor figure, bull posting about it left, right, and center. So the question is, and also, if you watched our video from Sunday, I think it was, you'll know that it has an important upgrade, Fusaka, coming up early next month. So that could be next week, I think, if my memory serves me correctly. And obviously, Ethereum upgrades have in the past been bullish for ETH. So it's definitely something to watch there. So there is a lot going on for Ethereum at the moment. The question is, can it hold these levels and can it regain that all-time high from that it was looking at just a few months ago? I mean, to be honest, mate, the fact that it didn't even break the all-time high this cycle after all of that stuff you just mentioned, I'm like, it's like literally a few dollars. I'm an ETH holder, all right. I'm just trying. Bro, I'm trying to put a positive spin on it. It's like, put the champagne away. It's no longer all-time high for the next cycle. Okay. Yeah, anyways. Okay. So where could we potentially go? I mean, so looking at the price charts, this is the daily chart of ETH, and it's going towards a death cross, right? In terms of you see the 200-day and the 50-day moving average. That's generally a bearish signal. We still have time to save it. We'll have to see what happens over the next few days and weeks. I will note, though, we have bounced from a previous consolidation zone, so it's acted as a support. We'll have to see if it comes back and challenges it later. ETH BTC itself is approaching a key support and accumulation zone on the weekly that we had initially before it began its run up about 6 months ago. So let's hope we can hold that level, because if it does break down, it falls below the accumulation zone, then it could fall relative to Bitcoin. Okay. Now this, if that does happen, then that would stick the boot still further into an entity that at the moment is $4 billion in debt, and that is Bitmine, the largest Ethereum DAT. Led by this man, Tom Lee. Bitmine Immersion sitting on a $4 billion loss on EtherBet as analysts warn of structural issues. Yeah, the structural issue here is the fact that he holds 3% of Ether's supply. So that's a risky, that's a structural issue. It has been a rough ride for Tom Lee, though.
Yes, that was a popular meme last week. I mean, it's been a rough ride for ETH DATs in general. Obviously, Bitmine is the biggest and obviously suffering the most at the moment. But in general, sort of ETH DATs have been selling a lot. Funnily enough, I should point this out now. I don't know if we're going to get to this at some point, but the DATs that or the ETFs, I should say, that have launched for Sol and XRP have not yet seen any major outflows.
No, not major. They haven't. I don't think they've seen a day of outflows yet, which is bloody impressive. Which is great. I'm like, who's buying it? I mean, unless there's some shell game stuff going on with people like the, in-kind contributions. They're swapping their XRP. I think that I did an interview with James Seyfert on the weekend, and he's the Bloomberg ETF guy. And he said part of the reason why you see in this price action being flat or down, and then you have these inflows in the ETFs, is because these are in kind. So people can swap their whole tokens, XRP or SOL, get ETF shares. So there's no net buying.
Oh, I see. That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Anyway, that's a little bit off topic because we're talking about DATs, but I thought I'd just mention that because I remember we were discussing that earlier, and that is interesting. So where could the floor be for ETH then?
Well, we can lean on two analysts here. Firstly, Mr. Raoul Pal of Banana Zone fame. He compares the current crash in ETH about negative 42% from the highs to 2021's 62% drop, which did reverse sharply to new highs. And just to summarize this, it's consistent with his 2021 cycle thesis, where ETH bottomed around $1,700 to $2,000 before rallying. If you extrapolate that out, he potentially could see ETH bottoming at about $2,000 to $2,200 as a macro floor, and then driven by positive macro sentiment, rate cuts, etc., and TradFi convergence with tokenization, etc., ETH could rally back again towards all-time highs. At least that's his theory.
So that's Raoul Pal. Yeah. Meanwhile, Tom Lee.
Coming back again.
Tom Lee is, I think it's, Tom Lee's slightly bullish on ETH.
Slightly. I mean, he thinks that we're going to have a super cycle in ETH. With akin to Bitcoin super cycle. I didn't even know Bitcoin had a super cycle, but
who knew? So he reckons, Tom Lee reckons we could bottom at around 2.5K, but that would lead to all-time highs by spring 2026.
Yeah, and he notes that the decline from all-time highs has been sharp, but expects a faster recovery due to historical patterns where ETH rebounds harder and quicker post-drawdowns.
Yeah, and he also cited BlackRock. They registered a new staked Ether Trust ETF in Delaware, and Tom Lee reckons that indicates confidence in ETH below 3K, with potential inflows into that staked product offsetting outflows. Now, of course, there are other staked ETFs available, and the attraction of those is that they offer, a yield through staking. But of course, BlackRock doesn't yet offer a staked ETH ETF. No. So the fact that it's registering for one, and obviously BlackRock's spot Bitcoin and spot ETH ETFs are the biggest by a wide margin. Yeah. So if BlackRock enters the game in terms of staked ETH, that could make a difference.
Some option for people to get some yield. Yep.
Yeah.
So we've got Raoul at $2,000 to $2,200. Tom Lee says about $2,500. This, from a technical perspective, this chart was interesting. This is from Trader Ali on Twitter, and he looked at the MVRV Z-score and bands, and on this chart, potentially he could see a bottom around $2,000, which is the lower of the MVRV bands over there. That's generally been a place at which ETH would have rebounded from. So those are three predictions out there in terms of where ETH could fall to as a low. I mean, what are you thinking, Guy?
I mean, I reckon 2K would. I think if we get below 2K, we're in big trouble.
Yeah.
But I think it should hold again because of things like DATs and more importantly ETFs. But I think the narrative is still there for Ethereum. I don't think the haters are all that correct. But let's see. But I think 2K should hold. Yeah,
there's been a lot of hate coming back for ETH on the crypto timeline, the Twitter timeline, which is, if you recall back to 6-7 months ago, how much hate there was for ETH then. It generally doesn't tend to end well for the haters. So I wouldn't write ETH off in any capacity. And there's still the future financial system is being built on ETH. So let's not forget that, guys.
Yeah, Ethereum hate is a sort of professional pastime on crypto Twitter. Okay, so it's ETH will be okay.
It will be okay. All
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
All right. Now, if you're looking to trade ETH or indeed any other crypto assets, then a wonderful place to do so is our third brand partner, and that is BitGet. And we have a giveaway that we want to do for Coin Bureau news viewers of a portfolio at the end of the quarter. You might have been following this over the last few weeks. We have a portfolio that we've been using BitGet to build up.
Yeah, exactly. So it started at $5,000. Don't know where we're at today. Where are we at?
$4,600.
$4,600. So not that. Okay.
Could be worse.
Could be worse.
Could be
Jeez,
worse.
I mean,
God, I'd take
it's
that.
not that bad. So that's still what's up for grab, guys. Up for grabs. We've got about another month or two going in the competition. All you need to do to participate is have a BitGet account, and you can sign up right there, scan that QR code, and you have to watch the stream and you have to vote on the trades. And if you sign up a BitGet, by the way, you also have a lot of other goodies there. You've got the 50K USDT bonus, and there's also trading fee discounts. So as it relates to the competition itself for this stream, we're going to now pull up a vote for the coin you guys want us to add this week to the portfolio. 3 altcoin options. We thought we'd go with some OG 3 altcoin options and 1 stablecoin option if you don't want to buy anything and you want to hodl stables to the next week. And you can vote for them right now in the stream. And the options are USDT, Aave, Link, and AVAX.
Okay. Do you want us to just hold in USDT, or should we buy, some of these are old school, aren't they? Aave, Link, or AVAX? Let us know. Vote on that now, and then a little later we'll close that poll, and then you can vote on the allocation of the portfolio.
30%, guys, really.
30% on the likes, not good enough. And I tell you what, if we don't get to 100% of likes, I'll start talking about cricket again. You've had the carrots. It's now time for the stick.
Guys, no, please. I can't be in here in the room.
You might have to watch Nick slowly expire as I talk through those 2 days at the Test match at the Optus Stadium in Perth. So if you don't want that to happen, guys, hit that like button. Get us to 100% on that thing.
I'd rather watch Bitcoin go to 0 than listen to that, guys. Honestly.
There we are. Nick's sanity is on the line here, folks. Okay, let's have a look at last week's top performers then, shall we?
Indeed. So the first one on the list is a bit of an OG here, Bitcoin Cash.
Bitcoin Cash.
And it just got a DAT.
Okay.
Wow. So on the 22nd of November, MF International, a major Hong Kong-based financial institution, revealed plans to acquire $500 million worth of BCH for its corporate treasury by December.
Okay, there we are. Another Dino coin
made a
with
mistake
a DAT.
and they thought they were going to accumulate Bitcoin and they accidentally
Well, Bitcoin Cash is an interesting one, isn't it? It quite seems to sort of be a bit of a contrarian bet a lot of the time. When the rest of the market is down, quite often Bitcoin Cash will be there, sort of just solely outperforming.
That, my friend, is called manipulation.
You're so cynical, Nick. You're so cynical. Okay, next up we have MYX Finance and its MYX token. This is a cross-chain perps DEX. It recently rolled out liquid restaking features, allowing users to earn yields on staked collateral while also trading perps. So, you're earning interest whilst being a complete degenerate. TVL's also climbed to a new all-time high of $187 million.
Wow, yeah.
How about that?
I mean, yeah, now you'll also earn yield while you're getting wrecked on your perps. Well done. So.
Perfect. Okay, what's next?
This is Pi. Now, Pi coin, this is generally quite a controversial project in crypto, right?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, it was the whole mining thing, right? With the mining with the phone.
Mine on your phone, yeah.
Exactly. Anyways, they recently got EU MiCA approval. So, okay. Well done to them.
And they also got an integration with ISO 20022, which is a bit of a kind of cult thing in crypto, isn't it? Basically, this gives it sort of full alignment with global banking standards and enables interoperability with SWIFT and traditional finance rails.
Wow, okay.
Who would have guessed on that?
Future of finance is not built on ETH, it's built on Pi. Okay.
There we are, apparently. Okay, and finally, we have World Liberty Financial and WLFI. Couldn't see much reason for this pump other than the small token burn last week. And presumably Justin Sun's tokens are still locked.
Are they?
I don't know. Maybe.
Probably, yeah. I mean, there was also some FUD last week about this as well. I believe there was tokens that were locked or that they voted to move or something. I don't know, some FUD, but
there were some shenanigans going on, weren't there? But WLFI is nonetheless one of the top gainers for this week. I mean, I must say it wasn't.
It was.
There wasn't a
either
huge amount of gains this week.
Stable coins, maybe one or two stable coins, or what else was there? Exchange tokens. So,
that was about it. Okay, we are now going to close the poll for which coin we should add, coin or token we should add to the portfolio this week. So before we get you to vote on what allocation, what is the winner of this week's poll? Link.
Oh,
the Link Marines are storming the beaches once again.
There we go.
Okay, so we're going to buy some Link for the portfolio this week. So we'll now open another poll. What allocation should we do? Should we just do a 25% allocation, a 50% allocation, or well, you'll see the other options.
75, or should we full port all that stable into Link?
Okay.
Please, not the latter, guys. Remember, you guys are going to win this portfolio. So
let's see. The Link Marines are in the driving seat. Okay, now before we look at tweets of the week, it is time for Lewis and his wonderful TA. So, Lewis, over to you, sir.
Thoughts and trends, he'll show the way. Lewis brings the TA today.
All right, guys. So there's not going to be a huge update from me for today because things are still very, very bearish. However, we have come into a really important zone, which is the weekly bullish order block for Bitcoin at $85,000 or $85,700 to be precise. And so I would expect there to be a good reaction from this area. And the other thing that I noticed is that we're on the fourth week of, we had 4 completed weeks of it being in a downtrend, so there's 4 red candles. And if we have a 5th weekly red candle, that will be the first time that that's happened ever since April of 2022. So it's pretty rare that we get 5 weeks straight of down only price action for Bitcoin. So we have that, and we have the weekly bullish order block. So I would expect a bounce, and that's what I'm hoping for, because I bought back in. But, things could be happening. Something could be happening under the surface. What I think might be happening is that during that October 10th big liquidation event, I think that a big player did actually get wiped out, and they're just liquidating all of their positions. And I'm pretty sure that once they finish, we'll see what, happens, and it'll come to light what the truth is or whatever, and why things are selling right now. And so that's my take on Bitcoin. Essentially, I'm hoping for a bounce up to at least like 95K, and we're at a good level right now. But I also wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't end up being the bottom. So even if we do get a bounce, I would be wanting to sell. And then we have Ethereum. I do like where Ethereum is at a lot more, to be honest. And I like this because if you take the Fibonacci from the bottom that it happened in April 7th of 2025 at 1,383, and you take that all the way up to the top at 4,955, well, the 61.8 is basically exactly where we are right now at, let's say, 2,800. So this is a really good area where there's a very high probability of the Ethereum bouncing. And if Ethereum bounces, then typically altcoins tend to bounce as well. So I'm much more prone to think that we will be bouncing from this golden ratio plus big support resistance area where we are on Ethereum right now. And so because these assets are at really big support zones, that makes me not want to short. But if there are big bounces across the board, which fingers crossed there will be, then obviously I'll be looking for shorting opportunities. And as far as alts go, what I would like to do is look for, big areas, like big support areas. I mean, look at Solana right now, where it's at this big support area. But in downtrends and in bear markets, which we're pretty much in one right now, the supports get broken. And so this is a big lesson that I learned the hard way back, I think, in 2018. And that is that if there is a big support, typically you want to buy at the support like that. But that's what you want to do, in uptrends, right? But in downtrends, if you buy at the supports, well, it's just going to go underneath of it. And so I don't really want to be looking necessarily for longs unless it's at the support and I see a really good bullish setup. And when I do go long in this type of market, I'd want to take my profits pretty quickly and make sure that I lock it in and raise my stop losses, into profits as soon as they do get into profit. And I think that just like for most people, they'd probably be better off either just not trying to trade this market or just waiting until things look better in order to actually put their money into things, or wait until things look way, way, way worse, potentially, fingers crossed that doesn't happen, and then just, buy it and hold it until the next cycle or whatever. And so basically, to reiterate on what I just said, I'll look for things that are at support, like Chainlink, for example. This is at a really nice support, and I'll wait to see if a trade setup actually happens somewhere over here to go in, and then I'll go in. But I think going in preemptively with your full stack is probably not the best idea. Okay, so that's going to be the trading aspect of what I'm talking about here, where if something is at a big support, then I will look for longs, but I'm going to be taking my profits very, very quickly, and I'm going to be trailing my stop losses up into take profit. And if things do get a bounce, then I'm going to be shorting the market. However, there's one other component that I must talk about, which is dollar cost averaging, because in these markets, dollar cost averaging is the play. It is the best thing that most people, just average people, passive investors who are not active traders like myself, dollar cost averaging in these type of downtrending markets is the best thing because it lowers your average cost basis. So that is going to be another thing that I am doing, where I am just buying on a weekly basis. And every time that we make a lower low, I'm just going to be buying more and more Bitcoin. And you have to be very, very choosy on whatever coin you do pick. And that's why I'm picking Bitcoin, because I'm pretty sure that's going to be above $100,000 sometime in the future. And I want to lower my dollar cost average basis with that. And then if we happen to get a huge, huge, huge dump, to some ridiculous number where the value just seems so insane, then I'll just throw everything I have in there and then walk away and just wait. And so I had to mention that in this video, because this is the time that you want to be dollar cost averaging small lumps of money into the market whenever it goes lower, so that you obviously get a really good cost basis in the end. And so now you basically know my two different strategies, and I will bring it back to you guys.
Thank you, Lewis. High energy as ever.
Yeah,
Love it.
Feeling optimistic. I like it.
Yeah, great to hear. Okay, let's have a look at some tweets of the week, didn't we?
So many, yeah.
Okay, let's start. This one has been doing the rounds quite a lot recently, and this is Jack Mallers, obviously well-known Bitcoin maxi, if you like, shared a picture of a letter that he'd framed from Chase Manhattan Bank. Basically, he's been debanked.
Yeah, and no reason given apart from quotes concerning activity on his account, which is interesting given that this is the bank that banked Sir Jeffrey Epstein.
Is that right?
Yeah, they were his biggest bankroller back in the day. I think even after his conviction, I believe.
Wow.
Didn't they say? I think they even settled with some of his victims. So, pot calling the kettle black there, no?
That is crazy. I mean, like this debanking thing is one thing, but the fact that they don't even provide a reason as well. It's just like, we're debanking you. We don't have to tell you why, but we're debanking you. Good for Jack to basically stick a middle finger up at them.
3.0, man. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, now this is a pair of tweets. You need a bit of context on this one because the second tweet, which is an absolute banger, we need to explain it. So, in case you missed it, one of the big stories in the last few days has been the fact that someone managed to vibe code. Was it an actual bug that hit Cardano?
I don't know. Apparently, that it had an impact on the network of some description. I mean, Cardano maxis will
Vibe coded a transaction.
Okay.
Now this is ICO Beast is claiming that it bricked the entire network. Now, as far as I know, Cardano didn't stop producing blocks or anything like that. So I think anything that says Cardano was brought to a halt is wide of the mark and sort of overly fuddish. But nevertheless, it did have an effect. And of course, this got a lot of people talking. What are we even doing, bros? Can I call the FBI on ETH sellers? And yes, the crazy thing was that Charles Hoskinson then tweeted about it and basically said that they'd called the feds.
Or they were threatening to call the feds on the guy that they identified who it was.
Yeah, they knew who it was.
Yeah.
So Mert, who is obviously a big figure in Solano's ecosystem and possibly one of the best shit posters on crypto Twitter, Charles so shocked someone used Cardano, he called the FBI to ask if the person was real. Oh, my word.
Please investigate. This sounds impossible.
Oh, my word. That is an absolute zinger. Yes, so a lot of FUD flying around about Cardano. Like I say, don't believe all of it. It certainly wasn't quite as bad as I think a lot of people are making out. But nevertheless, the fact that they supposedly called the feds is pretty wild.
Interesting, funny story, yeah.
And an absolute banger of a tweet from Mert there. Well done, sir.
Speaking of bangers of tweets, this one also, speaking of bananas.
Ah, yes. That was it. There we are. The banana zone.
There was the banana. Yeah, we were right all along. There was a banana zone coming. It's just that it was inverted.
Yeah.
Guy,
if you can't spot the banana, what are you even doing?
That banana is not quantum resistant.
That is not a quantum resistant banana. That is quite the opposite. Yes, beautiful. Lovely to see it. And then we also have one from Saylor himself. What's the context here?
So the context here is there was a lot of FUD, or not really FUD, there was concerns going around according to a JP Morgan post or research report last week that Strategy's shares and MSTR could face forced selling because if it is excluded in January from the MSCI. So these are indexes, right? Index funds that will hold the shares of a representative basket of stocks to try and track an index. And the speculation is if they exclude, they're potentially worried about having any sort of DATs in there. So companies that hold Bitcoin, including the biggest one of all, Strategy. And then JP Morgan released this note that some saw was a lot of FUD. And Saylor himself came out and defended that and said, look, Strategy isn't just a fund or a holding company. It's actually an operating entity, and he's defending it. So, yeah, it was pretty crazy. This made the rounds last week. And there were some who tried to make the connections between JP Morgan with the debanking and MSCI, and then also tried to attach it also to what happened on 10/10. But I think that those are completely separate things. But it was interesting.
Okay. Yeah. That sort of puts me in mind of that Is Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme, where he's got all the red things on the board.
Exactly. That's what it was.
Yeah. I think at times like this, when the market is really struggling, people like to join the dots up, don't
Always want to and find some big nefarious character to blame, not just our own degenerate leverage traders. I mean, it was just degenerate leverage traders and a bad bug on an exchange, not to be named. And
Yeah. But of course, I mean, it's interesting that Lewis in his TA bit was saying the same thing. He's hearing those rumors too. So maybe that's something we'll be able to discuss on future episodes. Whoever it was that did get absolutely nuked on 10/10, we will find out at some point, I'm sure. Okay, let's have a look at some dates for the diary for this week.
Only two. So that's tomorrow, as I mentioned, PPI, producer price inflation numbers.
Okay.
There was the 2.8% year-on-year previous, and we've got now 2.6% previous on the core number. And then Wednesday, we've got initial jobless claims, and the 220K is the previous number, and 225K is what's expected this month.
Okay. Right. Shall we do the update on the portfolio competition then? Okay. So can you reveal, guys, what percentage allocation we're giving to Link this week? 25%. Very sensible. Okay.
It's always been 25% since.
I like it. I like it. These guys know what they're doing. They're not going crazy. We got it set to 25% there. It's a market buy. So we will hit buy Link. And confirm. There we are.
Bang on.
Little clinking sound. And Link is added to the portfolio. So we've got basically $400 to make up this week, and we're back at even on that portfolio. So the hope is all on Link.
Well, Chainlink ETFs are launching this week, so maybe it helps. Maybe the Link army can push that up. Let's see.
Okay, let's see. All right, and let's just have a look at some of the comments as well. Now, this is an interesting point that someone's made out. BTC is tracking Guy's travels. He's been down under the 50-week moving average, but heading north again. Now, this tells me, if this is true, then I think Coin Bureau, and indeed all of you guys, need to fund my dream trip to Alaska. Just send me that. I've always wanted to go to Alaska. I think it looks like a beautiful, fascinating place. And the good news is that if I get to go there, then that should send Bitcoin's price northwards. which is what we all want. I will do it for you guys.
It's winter now there in Alaska. You
That's
do know
okay.
that there is no
That's
light.
okay.
There is no light in Alaska.
Listen, Nick, I live in Dubai. I've seen quite enough sun to last me a long, long time. I don't mind. I don't mind getting my, getting my North Face jacket out and
Going to start the stream with a guy in there, -50 sea weather, fucking no light, no sun, stuck in the wooded cabin in Alaska on the north.
Just going live from a blizzard. It's like, I'm doing this for you. Yes. Well, let's. I think that's right. So, you'll see me. You'll see me from a live stream somewhere near the Arctic Circle very, very soon. Now, I knew one of the Cardano community would jump to our aid here. So they did not vibe code a hack. The exploit was reverse engineered by an experienced SPO after it was shown on testnet by someone else. The chain split into two, but once bug fixed, it self-healed.
There we go.
There we are. There we are. You can actually, I'll have you know. I think vibe coded was used because they'd used AI to do it. Yeah, well, supposedly, okay. But I'm sure the Cardano community will disagree with us on that, as they do on everything else. Okay, is there anything else we need to talk about this week, Nick?
I know. I mean, unfortunately, they're not getting the portfolio alpha there.
Oh dear. Yes, we didn't get enough likes.
Yeah.
So Nick is going to hear all about England's two-day defeat in the cricket.
No,
you guys had your chance and you blew it.
No, guys, can't do that. Let's end the stream.
Okay, so it's been a tough past couple of weeks for crypto. It's been a tough couple of weeks for the set.
Yeah, exactly.
That's falling apart behind Nick. So we will be back next week. Let's hope we get some positive news this week. But keep watching, guys. There will be interesting stuff coming along. And hey, maybe we will find out who went bust on 1010.
Soon enough, hopefully, guys. Not going to. What will that really do for us, though?
I don't know.
Okay, so what?
It'll just let us move on and blame somebody else.
Okay, cool.
There we are. We will be back with the Coin Bureau news, same time, same place next week. No NFA live this week because it's Thanksgiving. So happy, as Nick said, happy Thanksgiving to anyone who celebrates. And we will see you guys next week.
Adios.
Ciao.
I've become an alcoholic during the 2025 face melting Bitcoin bull run.
Behold the turtle of enormous girth. On his shell he holds the earth. Thoughts and prayers, everyone. Nothing like the lovely bear baby.
Yay! Goblin Town! We need a McRally live from jail. Guys in another prison. Yay! Goblin Town! We need a McRally live from jail. Guys in another prison.
So basically, it's supposed to be a 5-day test. First day at lunchtime, we could tell that this was going to be a 2-dayer. England batted pretty poorly. Mind you, it wasn't